Next one, Bragg's equation. In the previous question paper, so many times asked this concept, both in subject 1 and object 2. Crystals have different planes. Here, this is the X-ray reflection from crystals. So here, X-rays of single wavelength. So we can use the wavelength, same wavelength X-rays. They can strike parallel planes of crystal at an angle of theta. After that, they can reflect like that. A strike at theta angle and reflect towards D like that. B towards C towards F like this. The distance between these two successive planes is small d. Okay, this is theta, this is L, this is N, this is M, this is O. Okay, here if you observe OL and OM are perpendiculars drawn to the incident. This is incident, this is reflected. OL and OM, these are the perpendiculars drawn to the incident and reflected. These are the reflected beams, these are the incident beams. The difference in path lengths of waves deflected from the first two planes is, suppose this is Ln, this is Nm. The difference in path lengths, Ln and Nm. So the difference between these two planes, Ln plus Nm is equal to n lambda according to Bragg. Here n represents 1, 2, 3, 4, so on. Here, if you observe OLN, ONM, these triangles are congruent. Here Ln is equal to Nm. So here path difference is equal to 2d. 2d sin theta. Here path difference is equal to 2d sin theta. Y means d sin theta is equal to Ln. Here both Ln and Nm are same. So here 2Ln is equal to 2d sin theta because Ln is equal to d sin theta. Here d represents the distance between the two successive planes. So the condition for maximum reflection, that is equal to n lambda is equal to 2d sin theta. So once again you revise the bio students, you revise the values of sin theta values. Okay. Once again, please go through the derivation. Useful for very short question in subject also. If you observe here, this is the source S. From here, X-rays will come towards this crystal powder, which is kept in capillary tube. Okay. After that, these X-rays can be diffracted towards this. Here G, this is ionization chamber. From source to this crystal powder present in thin wall capillary tube, these X-rays can be diffracted towards this G ionization chamber, where these X-rays can ionize the methyl bromide vapors present in this ionization chamber. Okay. After that, a current will be produced, which can be calculated in electrometer reading. Okay. We can calculate d values in different coordinate axes. Basing on that d values, we can identify what type of crystal it is. Okay. Next, this is Debye-Scherrer method. In this method, here S represents source of X-rays. This is the source of X-rays. C, this is C. Here in this one, crystal powder sample filled in thin walled glass capillary tube. Crystal powder sample filled in thin walled glass capillary tube. This is the table rotating about an axis O perpendicular to the plane of the drawing. Table rotated about an axis O perpendicular to the plane of drawing. Here F is the slit which allows, these are the X-rays. These X-rays are passing under the crystal powder. Then they can reflect. Okay, if you observe, they can reflect here. These reflected rays can pass through a slit. This is F. Okay. This is the next one. G is the ionization chamber or photographylate. This contains methyl bromide vapors. The energy of X-rays causes ionization, leads to flow of current. The energy of X-rays causes ionization, which leads to flow of current. Here, E is equal to electrometer used to measure the current. Extent of ionization can be calculated indirectly in electrometer reading. Here, intensity of diffracted X-rays directly proportional to degree of ionization. Intensity of diffracted X-rays directly proportional to degree of ionization. So, if we consider D values in different coordinate axes for NaCl, suppose if you have taken a sodium chloride powder in this glass tube, capillary tube, you can get the D values X and Y Z axis, X, Y, Z axis. 1 is to 0.703 is to 1.134, like that. So that ratio is important. Check once again. These are the D values in different coordinate axes for NaCl. These values refers to phase center cube. These values refers to phase center cube. Okay. Coordination number. This is the number of nearest neighbors present around a sphere or atom or ion in crystal. So for example, if we consider in diamond, carbon has coordinates number 4. In silica, for silicon, coordinates number 4. In silica, for oxygen, coordinates number 2. In sodium chloride, chloride ion has 6, sodium ion has 6, like this. So these are the examples. Generally, if you observe, coordination numbers 3 and 4 generally present in covalent crystals. Coordination numbers 4, 6 and 8 are present in electrovalent crystals. And coordination numbers 8 and 12 are present in metallic crystals. So covalent crystals has comparatively less coordination number, whereas metallic crystals comparatively more coordination number. Next one, radius ratio. That is the ratio between cation radius and anion radius. So generally the radius ratio can influence the shape of the crystal, at the same time coordination number. These three are interrelated. Okay, please check once again this table carefully. This is useful for objective examination and one more question in subject to. So if the radius ratio is up to 0.15, the shape is linear with coordination number 2. If the radius ratio is in between 0.15 to 0.225, the shape is trigonal planar along with coordination number 3. If the radius ratio is in between 0.225 to 0.414, the shape is tetrahedral with coordination number 4. Next one, with the radius ratio 0.414 to 0.732, the shape is square planar with coordination number 4. Please observe the difference between these two. Here coordination number is the same, but a radius ratio is different, then the shape changes. Understand? If you observe the next one, the radius ratio is 0.414 to 0.732. It is octahedral with coordination number 6. So be careful with these three areas. Okay? If coordination number changes, even though it is radius ratio is 0.414 to 0.732, the shape becomes octahedral. Last 0.73 to 0.99 radius ratio, that is cubic. Coordination number is 8. Okay, please revise thoroughly this table. This is important one. Okay. Next one, lattice point and contribution. Lattice point is the point where sphere or atom or ion is located in crystal. So we have body center, face center, edge center and corner. These are the lattice points. Okay. The center point of the body is called as body center. The center point of the face is face center. At the same time, the center point of edge is called as end center. And all these edges can meet together at a point that is called as corner. Okay. So contribution of body center is 1 by 1, that is equal to 1. Because body center belongs to the total unit cell only. Okay. Face center. Suppose if you observe this board, this board is attached to the wall. This wall is related to both the rooms. Like this, so this face center can be related to the two unit cells. So 1 by 2. So edge center. If you observe at this edge, so bottom 2 rooms to top 2 rooms can shade that point. So 1 by 4. If you observe the corner, in corner bottom 4 rooms, at the top 4 rooms, 4 plus 4, 8 rooms can be shaded. So then it is 1 by 8. Once again, body center contribution is 1 by 1, 1 only. Face center contribution 1 by 2. Edge center contribution 1 by 4. Corner contribution 1 by 8. Next, effective number of atoms in a unit cell. So with this one we can calculate the number of atoms on an average present in a unit cell. So effective number of atoms in a unit cell is equal to number of atoms in a particular lattice points into contribution. Number of atoms in a lattice point and contribution. So if we consider first a simple cube, in simple cube all atoms or spheres are present in corners only. So there are 8 corners. So 8 into contribution in corner contribution is 1 by 8. So 8 into 1 by 8, that is equal to 1. So the number of atoms present in a average or effective number of atoms present in a simple cube is equal to 1. Its coordination number is equal to 6. The number of nearest atoms. If we consider body centered cube, in a body centered cube, atoms are present in 8 corners and 1 body center. So contribution of corner is equal to 1 by 8. So 8 into 1 by 8. Contribution of body center is equal to 1. 1 by 1, 1. So 8 into 1 by 8 plus 1 into 1 is equal to 2. So body center effective number of atoms is equal to 2. Its coordination number is equal to 8. Be careful with these two. And next one, face centered cube. In face centered cube, 8 corners are occupied by the atoms. 6 faces are occupied by 6 face centers are occupied by atoms. So 8 into 1 by 8 plus 6 into 1 by 2. So you can get 4. 4 is the effective number of atoms present in a face centered cube. Coordination number is equal to 12. Coordination number is equal to 12. Once again, effective number of atoms present in a unit cell is equal to number of atoms in a particular lattice point into contribution. So in simple cube only atoms are present in corners only, so we can consider it. In body center atoms are present in body center along with 8 corners. In face center, atoms are present in all the 6 face centers along with corners.